Yeah, I throw on the Steve Urkels for these, you know what I'm saying? The thin frames, you know. I got solid frames too. Whatnot, you know. Fucking eyes. Fuck astigmatism, basically. What's going on YouTube? iDoc Life here, also known as IDCL here yet again. Finally, I'm back with a fucking video after like 3 or 4 months. I haven't made a video since the end of November on Star Wars Battlefront, and it was a frame rate test, and that shit was ages ago, it seems like. But I'm finally back, and goddamn, I've been through a lot in these past 3 months. Like on so many cylinders, so many levels and shit. Like I can tell you, like these past 3 months have been the most turbulent times of my life, like period. Okay, I'm not gonna give you the whole gist of the story, but mostly what's gonna pertain to this YouTube channel and my gaming world and all that. That's all you really gonna hear from me on that, because I like to keep my personal life personal. You know what I'm saying? Basically, I went from having like the best month of my life, period, just plain and simple, to one of the worst months of my life in the following month. And it was just crazy how the shit happened. But first things first, let's talk about this PC shit. The reason why I've been going longer than I really intended is simply because I ended up selling my PC at the beginning of January. I had a plan, a positive plan, in order that I thought I would be able to play out, but it ended up not happening. It folded, failed completely. So I basically was I basically was asked out after I sold my shit, because I sold my monitor, my keyboard, my mouse, and my rig, and I was basically without a PC for at least a month and a half. All I had was me and my phone. I didn't even have a fucking console. I sold all that shit, but I sold it for a plan that I had that was in the works. I thought it was going fine, but it just crashed and burned, and basically I got out of the fire or whatever, metaphorically, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, the good news is I finally got a rig back. This is more of a loaner rig. I am in the process of building a new rig that's going to be my primary rig, but what I'm using now is a rig that is a loaner from my Uncle Ken, who builds and sells computers and whatnot. And he really has a lot of parts and stuff, so he let me borrow a couple parts and I put together something, and it's similar to the rig that I just sold, but a little bit under, just a tad bit under. It's still a FX 8350 in there. I don't have my 970 anymore, that's gone, and it's a R9 270X in there now as far as GPU, and which is ironic because I had a 270X before I even bought my GTX 970, so I'm real familiar with this card. But the thing is, I'm basically using this until I finally get all my stuff in order, because this is giving me the ultimate opportunity to finally jump to Intel, like I've been wanting to do all of 2015, but never was able to. But now I'm gonna finally jump to Intel, and I'm gonna get my i7 4790K. As of right now, everything is in order. It's running good. Everything is running straight. You know what I'm saying? And I already started the progress of it. Basically, I went out and got a couple of things recently, because this rig has just been built, like not even 3 days ago from the day I'm making this video, which is February 16th. Just been built. So it's fresh. It's pretty much fresh. Anyway, I went out and bought a couple of things that's going to carry over into my brand new rig that I was planning on getting, the i7. And since I sold my mouse, I basically had to go and get another one. And this is the Logitech G602. And from what I've been using of the past few days, this is probably the best mouse I've ever used in my entire life. This shit is incredible. It has like 6 side keys and whatnot for MMO or FPSs or any game for that matter that you want to use them with, and it's just so sleek, smooth. It's right for my palm. I have big ass fucking hands, as you can see. It's right for all that shit, and it just feels so good. And it's a wireless mouse. And I know what you're saying, if you're a gamer, why are you using a wireless mouse? Basically, this mouse is different. This mouse has, it's lossless. Basically, it's running off a 500 hertz Wi-Fi, not Wi-Fi, but wireless signal. So you're basically losing nothing. It's just like having a wired mouse, and to be honest, I feel no difference. My last mouse that I've had was Logitech G400S, and that mouse was incredible to me. I love the shit out of that mouse. Recommend it to anybody who would want to think about getting it. But if you got the money, pay the extra 20 bucks. I got mine on sale for 50. It's probably higher than that at normal price. I think it's like 69 or 79. Get this shit. This is a superb fucking mouse. Love it. Love it. And also, what I went and got was a new monitor. Now, I jumped from a TN to an IPS monitor simply because I got to think about the fact that I edit too. Now, I know TN monitors are great for gaming because they have the least amount of lag input in millisecond time, and that's great for gaming because my last monitor was a Samsung 23-inch LED monitor. It was a TN monitor, and it had a millisecond time of 2 milliseconds, which is phenomenal. Excellent. It's second best to only 1 millisecond in the gaming world as far as millisecond rates, and it had no lag input at all that I can sense. And now I have an IPS monitor, which is an ALC 27-inch IPS monitor, and is a 5 millisecond. To me, I really don't care about the milliseconds that much as long as it's not something up there like 7 and above and whatnot where it becomes extremely noticeable. But this being a 5 millisecond monitor compared to my 2 millisecond monitor, I'll take that hit and get this glorious fucking view I'm getting with the fleshed out colors and the deep blacks and all that I'm getting with this IPS monitor. And that's basically why I went IPS, is because it's going to help me more with determining my right colors for editing and whatnot, because there's been too many times where I would edit with that TN monitor and then I go watch my video on some other computer or a television or whatnot, and the colors just look so off to me. But they look cool on my TN monitor because it's a TN monitor. The grays are not as their actual color. The darks aren't as dark as they should be. And that just, I just hated that shit. So I basically went in my IPS monitor, and I'm loving it so far. And it's a bigger monitor. I needed a wider monitor anyway than that 23-inch. And I'm loving it so far. I really am. I recommend it to anybody. From that, and on a gaming standpoint, I really don't notice hardly any difference at all. I'm not an esports gamer, so I really don't care for the extreme fastest speed. I'm not competitive. Like, I want to win, of course, in my games and shit, but I'm not a try hard or trying to win a tournament or anything like that, like you would if you wanted a TN monitor with low millisecond rate. It's good to have that, but it doesn't bother me. In my scenario, it doesn't bother me that much. But basically, the main gist of this video is my next subject, which is the GPU. Now, I have a 270X. Of course, that has to come up. You can't go from a 970 to a 270X and just stay there. And it was a humbling experience when I put my hard drive back in this shit and I started playing the games that I had, like Fallout 4 and Witcher 3 and GTA 5, and having to go through those settings and bring every fucking thing down. That shit is humbling. But anyway, the good news is I plan on bringing my GPU back up. And I'm debating, because when I had my GTX 970 back earlier last year, or probably mid last year, the R9 390s had came out after I'd already had that. So I didn't give them too much of a thought since I already had a card within that range that was just fine for me. Now that I'm pretty much reset back to where I was before I had my 970, it gives me this option. Maybe I should think about trying that 390. It's an 8 gigabyte VRAM card for the same price as a GTX 970, and the performance, as far as the benchmarks that I'm seeing, it is giving the 970 a run for its money as far as its performance at 1080p. It really is. In fact, most of these benchmarks, it comes out on top. And I don't know what AMD did, but they went back with the 290 architect, which was, I believe, the Hawaii chip, the Hawaii core, or whatever it was called. And they not remodeled it, but they made it more efficient, and it's pumping out some serious scores and shit. And it's doing better than the 970 on a lot of things, except, of course, like NVIDIA sponsored games, games that are really heavy on NVIDIA GameWorks and physics and whatnot and shit like that. I know you're probably asking, like, well, if that card is better, why not just get that one instead of the 970? This is why I'm torn, and it pertains more to the fact that NVIDIA's extras in their card, they benefit me a lot. And I'm not talking about physics and GameWorks, because GameWorks is pretty much dog shit on the past few games, like Batman Arkham Knight for one. That shit it just was terrible on the fucking card with that shit. But basically, the number one extra on a GTX card, a GTX 900 series card, is, well, every GTX card, I believe, is shadow play. Oh my God, man. Shadow play is a huge deal breaker for me because using it with my 970, it was a lifesaver on every scenario I had to deal with recording because it does not touch your frames at all. If it does, actually, I've probably seen a dip maybe twice, like 2 frames per second, which is unnoticeable because with a 970, most of your games are going to hit above 60 frames to begin with, so it doesn't matter. Shadow play, man. This is something you don't get with an AMD card, and this is why I'm torn, because I know that 390 is likely going to be better, and it may even be better in the future, and I've been thinking about 1440p gaming in the future, and that 8 gigs of VRAM is going to come in handy for that type of work. But shadow play, man. And I'm not trying to get a 980 because I'm not trying to spend that much right now, but this is where I'm torn. I'm trying to think, should I get the 390 or the 970? And the 970, I'm so familiar with it. I know how it works. I know all of its features and whatnot. But at the same time, that extra VRAM comes in handy, especially for games like GTA 5, which is VRAM heavy. And what other game? Like, I can't think, but you know what I mean. Like GTA 5, I've seen benchmarks of that shit. And like the 390 just excels with that game. But the thing is, when I use an AMD card, I'm going to have to use, because I'm not using Rapture or their little recorder because the quality is shit. I'm going to have to use something along the lines of Marillus Action, which is what I'm using now, which is probably the best fit, or Fraps or DX Tory or some shit like that. And you're going to catch a frame tank if you try fucking with those programs on any card. You're gonna, if you want good quality, you're gonna tank at least 10 to 15 frames. Maybe not 15, but around like 8 to 10, I'll say. And that's what I've been experiencing while recording with this this R9 270X. I've been catching frame dips that I don't want, that I didn't catch with shadow play, and I fucking hate it, man. Action is excellent. I've been using it for years, long before I had a GTX card, but now that I notice how good shadow play is, it's just no contest when it comes to performance ratio. Quality, maybe. Performance, definitely not. That's definitely on GTX 900 series side, or NVIDIA side, I should say. I'm just torn. I don't know which one I want to pick, because if I get that 390, I'm going to get a frame tank. I like to record damn near everything, so I'm going to have to get used to dipping in frames like that. I don't want that. But if I get that 390, and I record with action and whatnot, then I'm going to have to deal with that. And with the 970, when I record with shadow play, I won't have to deal with none of that. So it basically really levels the playing field as far as frame rates in my situation. Maybe not in yours. You may just be a pure gamer, so you don't care about shadow play or recorders, period. So your performance isn't hindered at all. But I'm trying to decide what the fuck I want. And then that 8 gigabyte VRAM, the shit just keeps going back and forth. And it really has me skeptical on what I need to pick. I don't know yet. I love the GTX 970, but I really feel like I want to give the 390 a run for its money. And if I called it 380 at any point in this video, my bad. I meant 390. I want to see what it does. You know what I'm saying? I just want to see what it does. But hey, I don't know. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below on what you think I should go with for my situation, not just gaming and not just editing, not just my overall situation that I just gave you right now. How do you feel I should go about it? I just want to hear your opinion. I'm probably going to end up going my own route, however I want to in the end, but I love to hear your feedback. Anyway, it's good to be back. Whew, man. I had to give you guys this video in the flesh so you know that I'm serious about coming back. This is IDCL. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. And I'm out. Peace.
Yeah. Or they're all going to blow up. Look. Look. There they go.
Oh!
Yeah.
Nigga, this is great.
This is the perfect thing.
Not yet.
Oh.
Not yet. Alright, right here. This is the thing right here. Jump up.
Are you parachute?
Right click.
No.
Oh.